But our first guest here on Sports Central is the Director of Operations for the American Powerboat Association. Of course, now satellite office there at the Lake Myrtle Sports Park. But Dana Potts. Dana, thank you so much for coming on Sports Central.
Hey, thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
I apologize for the open. I got so excited to talk about powerboat racing and, of course, the Orange Cup Regatta and the long history that it's had here in Polk County. I think one of the things that you've learned since you've been in Polk County is we have events like this that have been around for a long time. You look at the Tigers and being in Lakeland. You look at the Tiger Barbecue. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But the Orange Cup Regatta as one of not only a foundational event for Polk County, really for your industry, correct?
Yeah, it's one of our oldest running events. There's a ton of history in Lakeland around powerboat racing. As we all know, the most famous family in powerboat racing, the Bernie Little family, based here with the Miss Budweiser and things of that nature. My first experiences in the Polk County area was at Cypress Gardens, and we ran a Formula One tunnel boat out there. And I got to see the Miss Budweiser go around Cypress Gardens, which was pretty cool. So there's a lot of history here. I think we're going on 87 years for Orange Cup this year. So the Engel family have been amazing to us. They've been a big proponent of us creating a satellite office here and grow the industry here. Back in the heyday, I say heyday, 90s and 80s, you know, we had people move here to Florida and race every weekend from November to February. So we're looking to bring that back, looking to establish some a groundswell here, and I think you guys are a great partner to start that with.
So you have an extensive background in racing and not just boats. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I started in Formula One tunnel boats, and then left there and worked for NASCAR. I worked on the team to open up the NASCAR facility up in Chicagoland Speedway. Worked in drag racing. One of my first drivers was Clay Milliken in IHRA. Then I went over to do some drag racing with Ron Capps. Then I worked for Zach Brown. You might be familiar with him. I worked for him, and he's part of the McLaren team in F1. So I got to experience that. So I got a full cup of tea of different motorsports. So I kind of have that Kevin Bacon 6 degrees of separation. Yeah. If you know someone in that motorsport, I probably know someone that knows someone within that motorsport.
And a lot of connections between all those motorsports and Florida.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. Florida's a hotbed for motorsports. You got Gainesville, drag racing. You got Daytona, of course. You got Miami. And the short track racing is great around here too. So we want to bring boat racing back to where it's prominent here in the spring and throughout the year.
Well, and there's multiple areas of this operation, of this sport. But primarily, for those who are at home and don't necessarily know boat racing, you know, there's the offshore, and then there's the ones that can run around on lakes and in some instances rivers too.
Yeah.
Tell the difference about that. I mean, it might seem pretty self-explanatory, but it's really not.
It's really not. I mean, you kind of think about the aspects of boat racing. You think of NASCAR, you think of IndyCar, and they're like one discipline of racing. APBA is all disciplines of racing on water. So we'll run anywhere from a small motorized surfboard on a lake all the way up to a 40, 50-foot offshore boat running in Key West. So it runs the gamut. We run 130 events a year throughout the country. We have 90-plus clubs that are operating those events, and it'll run the gamut. So it's a diversity of racing on water. So very interesting.
Just to follow up to that, sorry, Jack. For the health of the sport in its entirety, you know, folks are watching this at home. I think, well, why does Polk County give a darn about offshore racing? Well, it all connects. So if this group's doing really good, it can help elevate this group and bring back some of that Florida series that you were talking about and keep that business in Florida instead of going to other warm weather climates. And so we all kind of literally rising tide, right?
Yeah.
Lifts all boats. But talk about why that's important to the health of the sport, because this is not a cheap endeavor.
No. It's the central piece of being in Central Florida is great because we do have a lot of offshore races here, and that's kind of our foundation of membership. But those are like-minded folks. They can look. We are actually at our national meeting last week, and I had offshore guys that were interested in going to our jet sprint races out in west, because they understand the speed on the water and have a good interest in it. So we actually had offshore guys talking about, hey, can we come to Lakeland? And some of our smaller offshore boats have the potential to run on Lake Hollingsworth, and we talked about they could set a record there. That's a lake of records. So it's exciting. I think more racing is, we have a coined phrase, we are boat racing, and we try to bring everybody together. And whether it's running a small stock outboard to an offshore boat, they're like-minded folks on the water. So we want to bring them all together.
And we had talked a little bit beforehand about the difference in boat racing versus pavement or whatnot. So explain that a little bit for folks that aren't familiar with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I make it simple as like boat racing is, the faster you want to go, the less boat you want to have in the water. You want to fly it across the water. So a lot of my car racing friends won't jump into boats because it's a whole different animal. You don't have brakes. You're flying the boat. The less in the water, the faster you are. Plus, you know, there's not really lanes out there, and your track is constantly changing. Unlike a asphalt track, which might change a little bit. Dirt track might change and work in and out, but boat racing, every corner you're going into, it could totally change. That corner you think you have could become a hole, and it's gone. And next thing you know, you're trying to find that edge of that boat and the performance. The further you find the edge, you don't want to go over the edge, because over the edge becomes an airplane. So it's a fine line. It takes a lot of skill to do that. And it's not like you can go out and train on that every day. So it's very challenging.
Yeah, I think we're probably more familiar with seeing the footage of those Jersey skiffs sort of bouncing as they go along, but even the bigger boats are still doing that. They're still spending a fair amount of time out of the water. Yeah,
absolutely. The biggest thing is there's just so many different disciplines that we have, anywhere from jet sprints. We honored our Hall of Champions last week, and we had the Jet River folks, and they're running jet boats over 100 miles on rivers, whitewater rafting rivers, and it's amazing. They're putting turbine engines in these and running 3,000 horsepower and the navigator is controlling the attitude of the boat with front wings and rear wings and all kinds of stuff. And it's each discipline has its own uniqueness. But what I love about it is majority of our racers are fans of each other. And it's really interesting to see that, because they understand it's a unique element that we do.
Well, I've already seen it. Obviously, the addition to our headquarters, tourism and sports marketing. Of course, we appreciate the county commissioners and the county management team for seeing the vision of this. But those synergies, you being American Powerboat Association, offices right next to USA Water Ski and Wake Sports, and already having those conversations. What are some similar things that you're facing? How can we attack this? How do we, get the next generation of boat racers or water skiers, and just talk about why that sports business cluster has already made sense for APBA.
It's been a huge benefit this early. I mean, Matt and Kevin, there have been great resources to bounce ideas off. I think we're all in the same kind of proverbial boat, that we're challenged to get new members, young people involved, and I think they see the same challenges we have, because we're kind of a unique sport. We got to buy a race boat. You got to spend some money. What other ways can we get youth involved and get them to experience it? We actually have a sport called motosurf that I think could bridge the gap between us. It's a motorized surfboard. I joke with my guys, it's basically surfing on a weed eater. It's a little one-cylinder two-cycle, and they do about 40 mile an hour, and they're picking up excitement here, and you can throw that little board on a plane and go race. And I think, talking with the water ski folks, I think there's a balance that we can work with, because maybe we can generate some of their riders and come over and try our stuff, and vice versa. So I think we have a lot of like-minded things. And it's good to talk to an association to understand their challenges. I think we're all running through this. I know, Neal, you guys go to a lot of sports conventions. You see the challenges. You guys address them well within Central Florida sports, and it's just good to bounce ideas off and see how we change our environment, because we're up against, cell phones. It's easy to sit on a cell phone and enjoy yourself every day, but at the end of the day, I got to get someone on a race boat. got to get them having fun, enjoying themselves, and having fun at a racetrack. And same with water ski. They got to get someone off that phone, get them skiing and doing slalom and all that fun stuff.
Dana, real quick, we've got about 30 seconds left. What's a website people can go to, or how can they become part of the American Powerboat Association?
Yeah, go to apba.org. That's our main site. We have contact information on it. Call us, email us directly. If you have any questions, we've got a staff that will answer any questions. If you have questions on a certain category, you'll see our full schedule for the year. You can tune into the schedule. We've got a race. Our first race of the year is in Tavares, Florida. So we got the vintage boats coming out. So you can see the schedule, see where to contact people, and just contact us directly, and we can probably put you in contact with a category or region and help you guide this crazy sport we call boat racing.
Real quick quiz for you. What's the greatest race location in the country?
Oh, well, it's Orange Cup, Lake Hollington.
There we go. I'll pay the money that you're owed after that. Dana, thank you so much. Really appreciate not only the commitment to Polk County and locating that satellite office there at the Lake Myrtle Sports Park, but developing those relationships within the community to help elevate it, exactly what everybody was trying to do. So we appreciate your vision there.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.